Media Studies 215 class. Let's get started.
Now, we've all heard about iPad kids, internet brain rot, sludge content destroying Gen Alpha, and what it could do to kids. But what if I told you there's nothing to be afraid about? Hi, I'm Professor Jimmy with a PhD in... Let's really dive into brain rot in today's lecture and figure out what really is the issue. Is Gen Alpha really doomed? Or is this just yet another piece of slop media outlets produced to create moral panic and bait an entire generation for views and retention? Any questions so far? Shut the fuck up. I haven't started yet. All right, let's segment this lecture with 3 main points. Brain rot's positivity in the brain, physical benefits, and 3, cultural belonging. Now, firstly, let's get brain rot out of the way by describing the origins. What really is brain rot? Well, class, it was actually coined by Henry David Thoreau back in 1854 with his book Walden, where he uses the term brain rot to describe the deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state. Kristen Ellis, an authority on Thoreau who teaches literature at the University of Mississippi, describes how Thoreau discusses such actions as the unreflective habits we observe all around us. Habits of fitting in, getting by, chasing profits, and chatting about the latest news. Kinda sounds a lot like my ex-girlfriend, am I right? Am I right, chat? Chat? So the word brain rot is rampant, and numerous studies have shown that the part of the brain is related to reading, language, and decision making are often weaker in kids who have more screen time. Henceforth, the new generation is screwed. But every single time there's a new piece of technology and then media says, oh, this is gonna be the bane of the new generation's existence. Take the 17th century, Hey, don't worry, you suck, I'll explain this for you. Chapbooks were small, cheap booklets that contained short stories, ballads, or folk tales, and to make them visually appealing and cheap to make, it often had woodcut illustrations on covers or pages, which were frequently generic, recycled, or only vaguely... I suck.
The pictures were vaguely related to the text at times, so just imagine Subway Surfers not related at all to the video, as the same for these images that kept being reused and repeated because it was very fast and easy to make.
Brain rot. Excessive radio listening was linked to reduced attention spans and poorer verbal articulation. Brain rot. TV, video games, the computer, hell, even books were deemed as a huge detriment to the new generation, was seen as something dangerous. But guess what? I'm out here giving a full-length lecture to my students. I'm doing fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, question.
But what about the attention span of the newer generation? We didn't need Subway Surfers in order to watch a 1-minute episode of Family Guy. If they need that and we didn't, aren't we better than them?
Hey. Shut the fuck. There's always been some form of slop placed next to what your main focus was on. When you were a kid, you definitely wanted some book with images next to it. When you watched those Carl's Jr. ads back in the day, those women weren't related to the burgers. Tell me you didn't watch a Counter-Strike surfing video while some YouTuber told a story that had nothing to do with Counter-Strike. Dang, he's pretty good at it. Every new medium starts out nice, great, informative. Take the radio, for example, Winston Churchill's speeches, sports broadcasting, NPR. But then, somewhere along the way, somebody realized adding sound effects and nonsensical bullshit gets some more listening time. Because for us humans, a little bruh sound effect can get us in the mood. I've even done my research on my own video and used Family Guy when I was refuting metaphysical nihilism. Let's take a look at YouTube's video and head to our analytics page where you can see the user retention graph. Now see, this blue line here represents the percentage of people still watching my video. And right here in this area is where I put in Family Guy as a joke to keep people still entertained. So I was looking at the chart and I saw the line and I thought, it doesn't seem to be going down like the rest of the video. It seems to still be like horizontal. So by doing some calculations, I figured out it fucking worked. My segment that had Family Guy Funny Moments Part 67 actually had the most horizontal angle than the rest of the video. I even did all the calculations. All this shit right here. It all translates to this being the actual most horizontal place for this video. That's crazy. I did this ironically and it worked. Is that not crazy? But it's not. It makes sense. And in a sense, if we understand people get entertained if we put some slop in it, can't we use it to our benefit? Think back to when you were a kid and Bill Nye came out. Popcorn reading chapter 2 of molecular biology? Stop handing us a friggin' packet, yo. Boing sound effects and a wacky voice accent? I'm acing this fucking quiz, dude. Are you kidding me? I don't think I would learn about GPU optimization if it wasn't for AI Chaywan from La Seraphim talking about it while a Minecraft parkour map plays in the background. I'm just keeping it real here. So, media tells us these new forms of brain rot is detrimental and how everyone's saying, yeah, the new generation is cooked. But that's what everyone said about every single generation. I mean, sure, babies and kids can use an iPhone or iPad everywhere they go now, so there's more exposure. But honestly, that's kind of vibes. I mean, I see the future like Animorphs, where people will slowly adapt to a low-angle view for better phone usage. And speaking about the physicality of it all, let's talk about the physical benefits, the prowess of understanding technology. I guess it's recess time. Chat, pull out your penis. Jarvis, pull out this man's penis. All right, if you're old as shit like me, you've probably been in the workforce. You've been in an office where there's old people on their computers working slowly. They probably still have some trouble sorting through emails or converting a goddamn PDF. But not us, not Gen Z. You realize how much faster you're typing, how you can navigate through a computer faster than these punks, how much technologically savvy you are. Well, imagine knowing how to do this as a goddamn baby. Technology is always evolving from a computer to probably some VR bullshit. And as a kid, you can learn how to be fast and adapt to today's culture. And me, I'm still catching up on how do people edit their videos to have their images flow, look smooth, have shadows, transition cuts. Bro, I learned my shit through a cracked version of Sony Vegas Pro. We're not the same. If you thought this kid was bad playing Minecraft while scrolling through TikTok at the same time, but replace those screens with Microsoft Teams and a Figma template, bro, we're chopped. And I could go on and on about the increased amount of cases for children with weakened hand muscles, which are all attributed to excessive screen time. But listen, what's some life experience without a little pain? What's some arthritis to a 500,000 salary computer science job at Google? If your hands don't look like this, you must be a liberal sissy. You're a little liberal sissy boy. You must be a little sis. All right, quick, you there. Pop quiz for you. Wrong answer. It's the wrong. All right, let's talk about the emotional effects of brain rot maxing. Let's wrap this up by a simple question. How do you feel when you're rotting in bed scrolling through TikTok? Comfortable? Feel like you're wasting your time? Maybe a little dread in there, buddy? Fucking weak ass bitch. While it's common for many people to feel negative side effects of doom scrolling, here's another point of view. You understand culture, connection. You feel like your For You page is niche, and once you talk to a random stranger that says, oh, have you seen this TikTok where the dude goes like this? There's a sense of connection there. Camaraderie, a friend even. I think there's another phenomenon now where the polar opposite is happening, because while For You pages show whatever people like, big trends and sounds are still bled into each category. For example, I was next to my mom one day while she was scrolling on her phone, and I heard a funk song play. Funk drift music. She's 60 and barely speaks English. But out of nowhere, this very American trend that probably originated from a 13-year-old in their room is now leaked into other countries, because people or companies that are big in their niches understand mainstream media and develop that into their own little world. That's just wild, because that would have never happened years ago. Another analogy is to discuss JonTron real quick. Now, if you don't know him, he's a YouTuber that was popping off as a video game reviewer guy. He started going viral off his videos like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts and Flex Tape. It was the second half of Game Grumps when it started, and was doing some collabs with some famous YouTubers back in the day. No, don't forget the racist part. No, cut this out. We don't want. Now take a look at this clip.
Do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? You look like a snake! Yes! What? What the fuck?
Sound familiar? Well, that soundbite, if you may not know, is actually commonly used in a lot of Asian media outlets, like this one. What? As a child, I would never think my mom would never cure any content I consumed, but for some reason, the black box of brain rot has allowed current culture in the system to make things so niche, yet so widespread. Food for thought. Well, class, at the end of the day, I think we all learned that brain rot is good for us, not bad. Hard day at the office? Go brain rot a little bit. It's proven to help. Stressful conversations with your wife? Go brain rot. Feeling depressed for brain rotting too much? Go fucking brain rot. Brain rot exposes the foundations of innate human nature. The creation of brain rot creates mind-numbing content sludge to push forward a new wave of memes in current culture that make fun of itself. That content itself is then labeled as brain rot, and content is produced again to recreate irony of the irony, which completes the cycle of what we already know. This shit was fucking stupid.